All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Beer Tree Brew Company, and they are out of Port Crane, New York, and this is their Fika. So this is a milk stout that they're brewing with coffee, hazelnut, and cinnamon. Comes in at 7.9% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in at the time of review. This can is approximately 6 weeks old. So full disclosure, I've had this one before. Actually had it at the brewery, and I had it on tap as part of 2 different flights. So, I drank like 4 ounces of this amongst, 8 different beers, and it wasn't on a fresh palate. It was like one of the last beers I tried in the flight, and I loved it. I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 on Untappd. It was delicious. Probably, next to the double pineapple creamsicle, probably the second favorite beer that I had from Beer Tree. And the funny thing about it is that a little bit before I showed up at Beer Tree, I stopped at Sam the Beer Man, which is an awesome bottle shop in Binghamton, New York, and they actually had 4-packs of this left, and I grabbed a 4-pack. So I tried it on tap after I grabbed a 4-pack, and I was so happy I grabbed a 4-pack because it was delicious. I actually picked this up before hanging out with a bunch of fellow beer tubers at the 2019 East Coast Beer Tuber Palooza. I think I gave a can of this to Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews and my buddy Jeff, aka No Jinx. I think I gave him a Fika. If I didn't, I'm sorry, Jeff. Next time, for sure. But I think I did. I think I gave him one. Anyway, I don't know. I'm confused right now. But yeah, it says on the label, coffee, hazelnut, and cinnamon milk stout. And doesn't that just sound delicious? I'm picturing, and again, I had it on tap, and I'm drinking it there. I just remember it being really cinnamon forward with a nice hazelnut and coffee character. The only detriment to this beer for me personally was it was a bit thin. It was definitely thin. It had like a nice creaminess to it from the lactose and everything, but it was just thin. And so many times when I'm drinking beers that are 8% or like 7-8% and they're stout of some sort, they always come off thin. Just in my mind, maybe they're appropriate for like the percentage, but like if I'm drinking something like this, I want it to be bigger beer. I want it to have like a little bit of a viscosity and a heft to it. But anyway, hashtag proper glassware. Let's give this a pour. It looks beautiful pouring out. It comes off more of like a dark, probably more like a porter actually in the pour. It's not straight black. It actually has like a dark brown to it. But yeah, anyway, that looks, in the glass, it's pitch black. I mean, I just said it wasn't, but, pouring it out, it wasn't, but in the glass, totally. And on camera, I'm pretty sure it is. Had about a half finger of a straight up brown colored head, but now it has dissipated into a thin film. And yeah, I mean, it just looks nice. I wish the head would have stuck around a little bit. Let's see if we can generate one here. Should be able to. Nah, not really. Anyway, let's get a nose. Yeah, it smells fucking dynamite. It smells dynamite. Tons of cinnamon off the top. It's when you're getting tasters at a brewery, it's tough to get an aroma a lot of times, but tons of cinnamon right off the top. There's a little bit of like a nuttiness. I wouldn't say necessarily hazelnut if I was doing this blind, but there's definitely a nuttiness that reminds me of like a peanut or a hazelnut or maybe like an almond or something. A little bit of coffee roast underneath. Only 6 weeks old, the can. I think it was a little bit more pungent in the nose on tap, but in the can, it's not as pungent as it was. There's nice, like, sweeter dark chocolate undertones. A little bit of vanilla from that lactose. A little bit of generic roast as well. Yeah, it smells pretty damn good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Damn good beer. Damn good beer. It's still thin in the can, though. Doesn't matter if it's a can or on tap. Still thin at 7.9%. First thing I'll say, again, body. This is like lower side of medium to medium body at 7.9%. I want to see a higher side of medium body. It is a bit thin. It's kind of drinking like a 6.5, 7% beer as opposed to almost an 8% beer. So the body, a little bit disappointing from that aspect. The mouthfeel, pretty nice. It has carbonation, but it does have a creaminess from the lactose and just the milk stout characters in general. It's not really super soft and smooth, a little bit more carbonation than that, but it does have a nice creaminess. The flavor of this one is really nice. For me, I'm getting like a hazelnut coffee crumb cake kind of in the taste. It has a real nice breadiness to it, or like biscuity kind of just like pastry vibe to it right up front. As it passes through the palate, a decent amount of vanilla kicks in, and the cinnamon hits halfway through the palate and carries on to the back. The coffee and the hazelnut are pretty much omnipresent. The chocolate is nice, but a little bit more reserved in the taste than it was on the nose. 7.9%. I really can't tell this is a big beer. Again, if I was doing this blind, the body and everything would indicate to me like this is 6 to 6.5%, I'd say, somewhere in that range if I was doing it blind. So they hide the alcohol quite well, but it's kind of disappointing because you're kind of sacrificing the body for that. So would you rather have an 8% beer that kind of drinks like an 8% beer, or would you rather have a 8% beer that drinks like 6.5, but the body's weak? Like, I don't know. To me, I think I'd rather have a little bit more alcohol kick and have a bigger body. That's just me personally. Some people would disagree, and that is your opinion, and you're free to disagree with me, because a lot of people do, and I disagree with other people. That's the beautiful thing about, you know, doing all these reviews and drinking craft beer and stuff. We all have different opinions. This one finishes sweet, but not overly so. I think that cinnamon spice kind of breaks up the monotony of the sweetness. Not a lot of dryness to this one. It does have a residual sweetness, kind of getting sticky lips. It's not super sweet. It's not cloying or anything, but it does have a sweetness to it. And yeah, I mean, the thing about this is I think Untappd was a little bit better, honestly. I know a lot of people will say that the tap is better than the can. For me, more often than not, I'd say about 95% of the time, the can or the bottle kind of follows suit with when I have it on tap. For me, it's very rare that one or the other is significantly different. And again, I'm probably in the minority. A lot of people will say that, you know, oh, that beer's way better on tap, or it was way better in the can, or whatever. And for me, I don't notice it as much, but this one was definitely better on tap. Not significantly better. Like it wasn't like that was a 4.5 on tap, and then this one's like a 3.5. But I do think it's just as thin as it was on tap. But I think the one on tap had a little bit more of a creamy vibe and a little bit more of a pronounced flavor profile. Like it was more intense and pungent. That said, rating for Fika from Beer Tree, I'm gonna give it a low 4.25 out of 5. I'm gonna go 4.15 out of 5. I think it's a good beer. Definitely 4.15 out of 5 is not a shitty score or anything. I think it's a damn good beer, but to get back up to that 4 or 5 range that I was drinking on tap, the body would have to be kicked up a notch. I think I'll even see the mouthfeel kicked up a notch. I just want a little bit more intensity to flavors. This isn't a super old can or anything at 6 weeks old, but I do enjoy this one. And again, it just proves that Beer Tree making some good beers. This is one of the few darker beers I've had from them, and it's pretty damn tasty. I don't regret buying a 4-pack. By the way, 4-packs of this I believe were $20. They're probably $18 at the brewery, but I bought this at Sam the Beer Man. I think this was $20 a 4-pack. Paying $5 a can for an 8% or 7.9% Milk Stout with all these adjuncts, fine by me. I mean, that's kind of the going rate. And availability, Beer Tree is mostly brewery only, but they do get out to some local places. They've even come as far west, or I guess I should say northwest, as Rochester. And so if they brew this again, you might see it if you're in Rochester. Hell, at some point they might even show up here in the Buffalo, New York area. I hope they do anyway, because I really do dig their beers. This is a damn good one. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it, especially you, Jeff. I can't remember if I sent it to you. I sent Jeff, I believe it was 18 beers in my latest return beer mail, because that guy's crazy and sends me all kinds of awesome beers because he's such a generous individual. So I ended up sending him a bunch of beers, other half, and stuff I picked up on the trip to the Beer Tuber Palooza. And I don't remember what I sent him, but I'm pretty sure I sent him a can of this. And if not, that's on this guy, but I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review. Like I said, if you had this one before, let me know what you think about it. And until the next one, cheers.